Welcome everybody to Charlotte Motor Speedway. My name's Josh Hall and this is the Extreme Forces Racing League. Thank you for joining us here tonight on Intensity Broadcasting. We got practice just finishing up here. We're going to have qualifying starting up in just a moment. So we get ready to watch these battles. These drivers do battle here at Charlotte in these next-gen cars. And now we see Jimmy Green just going out on track. I do apologize, I don't have any points for you to show up on the screen, but right now, Brady Floyd is your points leader. Doesn't have a win yet, but consistency is paying off for him. Sitting back 4 points behind, though, is Chris Wheeler, who does have a win. Then Joe Wright, Max McClure, and Eddie Morris round out the top 5. Austin Green in 6th. Jimmy Green 7th. Stan Mayberry jumps up 9 spots from last week, up into 8th. Dave Wright 9th. And Jacob Bowen currently in 10th in points. So we'll have to see how the points shake up tonight, as we do have a couple of names missing here tonight. I know Eddie Morris is not going to be here tonight. You see Jimmy Green with his qualifying attempt right down there on that blue line, right where you want to be as he comes off of turn number 2. Keep that thing as taking the short way around the track the best he can. Comes off of turn number 4 and through the quad oval. And we'll see if Jimmy Green actually runs a little slower lap than his first lap. His first lap was a 30.63. Second lap was a 30.64. Chris Wheeler currently on pole with a 30.55. Also runs a 56 his second lap. So looks like there's a little bit of fall off between first and second lap. See Dave Wright out on track right now. With the Intensity Broadcasting boys. Ran a 30.90 on his first lap. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to improve here on his second lap. As Dave comes across the line here, he's going to move up into the 6th spot. He does improve his time on his second lap at a 30.66. See Tyler Aspinall out on track. Running that high line on his opening lap here, trying to get that thing wound up and get as much speed as he can. So he gets right down to the blue line there through turns 3 and 4, trying to take the short way around. He's going to be qualifying in the 4th position. Joe Wright currently out on track right now. Comes off of turn number 2. Runs a little bit lower than we've seen a few people run tonight, but he's trying to get as much out of the car as he can as we go through 3 and 4. Pushes up the track quite a bit. That's going to hurt his time here as he comes off of turn number 4. Luckily, he's got one more lap to try to set a time down here tonight. Joe keeps it right down on that blue line. Oh, he pushes up the track. Pushing just a little too hard here. Going to turn number 3. This time he's able to run a good arc there, get that right down to the blue line through turns 3 and 4 off the corner. And does improve his time, but does not improve his position. He's currently in the 9th position as qualifying has just ended. So let's take a look at our starting grid tonight here. And starting from pole tonight, second in points, Chris Wheeler in the 22 machine with Jacob Bowen starting on the outside. Row 2, we're going to find the 7 of Bryn George and the 45 of Tyler Aspinall in the 4th position. Ed DeBoer in the 88, he'll be rolling off in 5th with Jimmy Green to his outside in the 6th spot. Patrick Genter in the 43, he'll be rolling off 7th with Dave Wright in 8th. Joe Wright in the 9th position in the 82 machine with Austin Green to his outside of row number 5. Row 6, the 91 of Mike Rentz and Brady Floyd in the 6th machine. And rounding out the field, the 17 of Brooke Qualley and the 68 of Stan Mayberry. So only 14 cars here tonight. Small field doesn't mean it's not going to be small on intensity. But we want to thank you for joining us here on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to like, follow, and subscribe. It really does help us out, and we appreciate it. Also, follow us on Twitter, Intensity Broad 1. Atlee likes to throw up a lot of little poll questions and have some fun out there, so follow us there on Twitter as well. And if you're watching on eRacing TV, well, we appreciate you watching there as well. Don't know what eRacing TV is? Well, it's a free app that you can download for your Fire Stick or your Roku, and you can watch live iRacing 7 nights a week right on your big screen. So check that out. It's eracingtv.com. There's always excitement on eRacing TV. As tonight we've got the Extreme Forces Racing League Tuesday night tussle. Tomorrow night we're going to have the SESRA Xfinity Series. But before that, we'll have the LNS Late Model Series. Thursday, we got the Thunderstruck Late Models. Friday, the Original Rebels Xfinity Series. Saturday, Original Rebels Cup Series. Sunday, Original Rebels Truck Doubleheader. And Monday's the Extreme Forces Racing League Monday Mayhem. So live iRacing 7 nights a week here on Intensity. You don't want to miss it. Got some special events coming up I will talk about as well a little bit when we get to our stage break as the pace car pulls off on the pit road. Chris Wheeler's going to lead him down to the starting zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and a great jump for Jacob Bowen on that high side. Doesn't beat Chris to the line, but definitely gets a good run into turns 1 and 2 as they're side by side, already battling for the lead. But Bowen's going to have to tuck down behind Wheeler. No, Wheeler stays low here. He's trying to get a little draft, a little push here from the 7 of Bryn George as they come down the backstretch for the first time. Tyler Aspinall working that high side right now, pushes up the track just a little bit. Chris Wheeler losing by a nose here as they come across the stripe for the first time, and Jacob Bowen's going to lead the first lap by no more than a fender, but they're still battling side by side for that top spot. Right behind Tyler Aspinall, Bryn George battling for that second spot, or sorry, the third spot in the second row. And they're the only drivers right now that are side by side, as everyone else through the field is pretty much straightened out as Bryn George almost gets into the side of Tyler Aspinall. Now we got some movement on that bottom side. We see Dave Wright starting to make some moves on that low side, trying to get himself up into the battle here. And these next-gen cars, they're pretty much wide open here. These guys are running almost like a super speedway pack right now as they come off of turn number 2. And down the backstretch, and the draft is really playing key here, but Jacob Bowen starting to pull away from Chris Wheeler. I think Chris got a little loose there because he also lost the spot to Tyler Aspinall. As now they're catching up to Jacob Bowen in a hurry as these next-gen cars push a ton of air from the front. big weight come off these cars, and you can see just how quickly these cars can draft back up to each other as they come through turns 1 and 2 yet again. A little further back, still side by side. You see Dave Wright working to the inside of Ed DeBauer. Ed's going to have the draft as Tyler Aspinall now challenges for the lead. Not quite able to get there. Here comes Chris Wheeler battling on the outside. Looks like Tyler got a little tight there, had to get out of it. That killed his momentum. That allowed Wheeler to pull alongside. As now Dave Wright's moved up to the high side, trying to move himself forward. Great battle off of turn number 2. Oh, Aspinall gets loose off the corner, ends up losing all his momentum. He's going to fall back to the 10th position here, as Jacob Owen has Chris Wheeler all over his back bumper as they come off of turn number 4. Oh, Dave Wright now gets real loose off the quad oval. Able to gather it up and hang on to it, though, as we're still single file here. Brady Floyd already up into the 5th position and continue to move himself forward. Definitely the hardest charger of the race tonight. As Chris Wheeler has Bryn George looking to his inside. Now they're side by side. Off of turn number 4 and through the quad oval. Here comes Dave Wright, though, giving Wheels a big push through the quad oval and into turn number 1. That's going to clear Wheeler. He's going to be able to get down in front of Bryn George. Now is George going to be able to get a good run here off the corner? Here comes Brady Floyd up on the high side, trying to put Bryn behind him. Meanwhile, that's going on. Patrick Enter coming up into the picture as well. And Dave Wright now challenging for the 2nd position on Chris Wheeler. As this looks almost like Talladega this past Sunday. They're 2x2x2 with the leader out in front. Now Brady Floyd's going to look down to the bottom here to try to take away that 2nd spot from Chris Wheeler. Brady's definitely driving that car hard. He's doing everything he can to get himself up to the front here. As you make your way through the pack, the competition gets stiffer as you get to the front. Now Brady's got the 43 to his outside. And Brady's going to have the entire field freight train. Now he's able to tuck back up in front. Almost tucks back up in front of Dave Wright. See the field come off the corner. Pretty much single file except for a couple of stragglers down on that low line as everybody's trying to get straightened out here. And Jacob Ode continues the lead as Chris Wheeler runs in 2nd. Patrick Enter in that 3rd position was just looking down to the low side but didn't have the run, so he was had to back out of it. Here comes Dave Wright back down on the bottom, trying to get underneath Brady Floyd to take away that 5th position. And he does, and he's going to slide himself up there. Continue to try to move himself back up to the front. Here comes Genter now, looking to the inside of Chris Wheeler as they're side by side off of turn number 2 with the big run down the backstretch. Looks like Wheeler's going to have the advantage on that high side. As that high side really seems to be the preferred line right now for some of these guys, as we see Dave Wright working down the inside of the 7 of Bryn George. Here comes Brady Floyd now on the high side as well. He gets a good pull from that 7 machine. Meanwhile, here comes the 25 of Jimmy Green into the picture, trying to move himself up to the front here. Wright's going to have to slide back in behind Brady Floyd. You saw Bryn George get really tight off the corners, had to push up into the wall, had to get out of it. Broke his momentum, and that's going to allow Brady Floyd to run right up to the back bumper of that 7 machine. Fortunately, not able to make anything happen as George is going to run the defensive line down on the bottom. Genter now to the bottom of Chris Wheeler again. Down the backstretch, they're pretty much even as they're side by side into turn number 3. Oh, the 43 just gets a little pushy through the corner. Has to back out of it. He's going to fall in position. Oh, Dave Wright with a big wiggle back here. Able to hold on to it, but these cars are starting to get really unstable now as the tires are starting to wear out. As we see Genter now falling back to the 5th position. A little further back, we've got Tyler Aspinall, who's fallen all the way back to the 10th position and not able to really make his way back up to the front just yet. I don't know if he's just biding his time or what, as he looks to the inside of the 15 of Austin Green. Although the 88 throws a little block on him, so he's not able to do anything there. Now Brady Floyd looking down to the inside of Chris Wheeler, not able to make that run happen, as we're going to go back to single file here as we come off of turn number 4. Jacob Owen continues to be your leader here. Chris Wheeler just riding right behind, patiently waiting to make his move. Just not able to get a good enough run to try to make anything happen yet. We are quickly approaching our stage break on lap number 24. A little further back, Patrick Genter now looking to the inside of Bryn George. He's got a little help from behind. He's got the 25 of Jimmy Green right there, giving him a big push. Now Brady Floyd looking down to the inside of Chris Wheeler. Gets the big run in, the slide job through the corner to move himself up into the 2nd position. Now he's going to set his sights on the 28 of Jacob Bowen. Bowen throws a little defensive move there, going down to the bottom, but Floyd not taking the bait. He's going to stay right there in the tire tracks, that 28 machine. Brady thought about taking a look to the inside, decides to stay right there in line. Chris Wheeler right there on the back bumper, giving the big push off of turn number 3 and 4. Here comes Bryn George, trying to make a move on Wheeler here, but has to tuck back in behind. As the 25 of Jimmy Green now looking to the inside of Genter, but not able to make anything happen as that run stalls out on the bottom side. Here comes the 88 of DeBoer. Trying to give a little help here to the 25 to get by that 43 machine. And those two cars hook up here and move themselves forward. Brady Floyd now has Chris Wheeler looking down to the inside as they come off of turn number 2. And Wheeler isn't able to quite get underneath. Almost gave Bryn George a good run, but able to tuck back in behind Brady Floyd here. Oh, big run out of the 7 of Bryn George. It looks like he's going to clear Wheeler here off of the quad oval and into turn number 1. He slides right up there in front to take away that 3rd position. Brady Floyd now still trying to work on Jacob Bowen, just not able to make anything happen. Patrick Genter was just trying to look to the inside of Chris Wheeler, as now they were looking to be 3 wide for a second, go back to 2 wide. With Genter on the bottom and the 88 of DeBoer on the top side. Now we're seeing that bottom starting to get a little bit of a run here as Chris Wheeler is looking to the inside of Bryn George, trying to take that 3rd position back. As we are about 2 laps away from the stage break. Jacob Bowen continues the lead over Brady Floyd as Jimmy Green makes a big aggressive move down to the bottom to get around Chris Wheeler to move himself up into the 4th position. As this should be the last lap in the stage. Jacob Bowen leading with a good lead over Brady Floyd. I don't think Floyd's going to be able to get a run here to take that position away. As they come through turns 3 and 4. Now Floyd way up against the wall. That's going to allow Green and Bryn George to battle. As they were almost just side by side. They were almost just 3 wide off of turn number 2. As those two are still battling at it, coming off of turn number 2. And DeBauer just drops down to the inside. See Aspinall going backwards again, falling back. He was up into the 6th position. He just fell back into the 8th position as they come across the line this time. And Jacob Bowen continues the lead. Now Brady Floyd making the big aggressive move. Almost gets into the back of Bowen. It's going to kill his momentum. He's going to slide all the way back here. He's going to fall all the way back into the 4th position as Jimmy Green is battling with him on the inside. So a costly mistake for Brady Floyd there. Trying to go for the lead and falls all the way back to 4th. He's going to have to try to get himself back to the front here. As Jimmy Green strapped down on that bottom side, which we've seen all the momentum breaking on that low side. As here comes Chris Wheeler looking down to the inside. We were almost 3 wide as Wheeler's able to hold it down on the bottom and make some moves here. Actually keep the momentum off the corner. Chris Wheeler's going to move himself up into the 4th position. But here comes Green fighting back on that high side. He's got some help from the 88 of DeBauer. And the 43 of Genter for that high lane, again prevailing as that's where all the cars are lined up. You see Bryn George now looking down to the inside of Jacob Bowen, trying to take the lead away. Jacob really hasn't had too many attempts here for anyone to take that lead away, but right now Bryn George looks like a serious challenger as they come through turns 3 and 4. Now Brady Floyd all over the back bumper of that 7 machine of Bryn George. As we ride along with the 7 of Bryn. You can hear just how much they're having to lift now to get out of the throttle. You see Brady Floyd trying to make a move here as Bryn is going to get around Bowen. And here comes the 6 of Brady Floyd trying to make the move as well. So move Bryn George up into the lead as the caution is out. That's going to be your stage break here. And Bryn George is going to be your stage winner. Let's take a look at that pass for the lead as George just gets a little bit low, gets the 28 just a little bit out of shape, and he's able to come across the line just barely out in front. Then he gets the push from Brady Floyd to move himself up into the lead. So with the caution coming out, I'm sure we'll see everybody come down the pit road. Take 4 tires and fuel. Although I was talking with Joe and Dave right before the race, and they said the tire fall off was not that big here, so we'll have to see If anybody maybe gambles with fuel only or taking 2 tires. As we see the whole field come down pit road. One driver staying out, the 17 of Brooke Wally, does stay out. As we get ready to watch the race off pit road. And Bryn George gets the big run off pit road. Jimmy Green second, Jacob Bowen, Brady Floyd, Joe Wright with a great run off of pit road. Come out in 6th, Ed DeBoer, Patrick Genter, Tyler Aspinall, Chris Wheeler, Dave Wright, Stan Mayberry, Austin Green, and Mike Rentz. It looks like Joe Wright may have taken right side tires only. As we take a look at the pit stop times. Sorry, pit stop time. And you see that Joe with an 11.38 where everybody else is in the 14s or the 15s. Which tells me I believe Joe just took 2 tires or fuel only. Then Brooke Wally not taking any tires or even coming down pit road. So the lights are off on the pace car. We're going to re-rack them, restack them, and refire them here at Charlotte. Now, it's meant to say, it's talking about special events. This Sunday, the Original Rebels Racing League is going to have a special doubleheader. Typically, you'd have the truck doubleheader, but they're not having their truck doubleheader this weekend. At 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have the Ladies' Night race featuring all the wives, girlfriends, sisters, any special lady in that person's life will be running the legend cars at USA Speedway, followed by the Original Rebels Racing League All-Star Race trucks at Auto Club Speedway. So you don't want to miss that doubleheader. A pretty unique one. These guys are Original Rebels raising some money for breast cancer awareness, and it's going to be a great show. So make sure to tune in for that this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern on Intensity Broadcasting. Well, as the pace car gets ready to take that hard left-hand turn onto pit road, Brooke Qualley's going to lead them back down to the starting zone. Green flag is back in the air. And a great jump for that 17 machine, and not a great jump for the 7 of Bryn George. He's going to fall all the way back to the 3rd position, losing that 2nd position to Jimmy Green. And now Jacob Bowen trying to take 3rd away from Bryn George. Here comes Joe Wright, though, on the high side. He's got Chris Wheeler right behind him. You see Brady Floyd down on the bottom side. Oh, Joe almost gets up in the wall. That causes a big check up behind him. Brady Floyd almost runs into the back Chris Wheeler. And Brooke Wally is going to fall back to 3rd on those older tires. So we're starting to see the tires are going to play a pretty important role here. As Jacob Bowen's trying to give Joe Wright the big push down the backstretch. Brady Floyd now looking down to the inside of Brooke Wally. Here comes Tyler Aspinall underneath Brooke, along with the 88 of DeBoer and 15 of Austin Green. So that 2-tire strategy is not working out for Qualley, as she's just falling backwards right now. Up front, though, Bryn George and Joe Wright are going at it, with Jacob Bowen now on the high side. Joe gets real loose off of turn number 2. That's going to kill his momentum and allow both Bowen, Wheeler, and now Brady Floyd to sneak on by, as Tyler Aspinall is right there behind. Here comes the 88, though, of Ed DeBoer, with a great run. Gets underneath Tyler Aspinall. He's got some help from the 15 of Austin Green. And meanwhile, while these guys are racing, oh, Joe gets loose off the corner, comes down into the 88 to Bauer, but they're all going to be able to continue on. I don't know how much damage that 88 has to the front end, but looks like he's able to keep marching forward here. Up front, Bryn George and Jacob Bowen now battling for that second position, with Chris Wheeler sneaking his way into the picture as well. Wheeler wants to get up front, wants to maximize on his points and try to inch closer to Brady Floyd's lead right now, especially because Brady's right behind him. Bowen now looking to the inside of Bryn George. He's got Chris Wheeler giving him the big shove down the backstretch. That's going to move Bowen right up in front of that 7 machine. Here comes Wheeler down on the inside as well. Bowen's going to slide up high. That's going to give a little draft to the 7. Now he's going to slide back low to pull along the 22. And that 7 car is going to get a great run off the corner here. And he's got the 6 of Brady Floyd. But Chris Wheeler is able to clear George off of turn number 2. And now he's going to look at the back bumper of Jacob Bowen and try to move them back up to the front. Meanwhile, that's going on. Got a little battle back here between Austin Green and Tyler Aspinall. This is for 7th and 8th on track. See Dave Wright right behind as well. Dave was running dead last a few moments ago, but he's sliding his way back up through the field. So Tyler Aspinall is going to take over the 7th position. Now we've got a 3-car train led by Jacob Bowen, Chris Wheeler, Bryn George trying to get themselves back up to Jimmy Green to try to take control of this race. And now Wheeler's going to try to look to the inside of Bowen. Not going to have the momentum to make that move. They come off of turn number 2. And we see Brooke Cawley entering pit lane now. She's going to lose a lap, but tried to use a little strategy here to get herself up to the front. Unfortunately, didn't work out for her too well as the field works their way through the quad oval. We're just a little more than a third of the way through the race. And you can see 2 very distinct packs on track right now. So we've got our lead pack of 5 cars right here. And then about 2 seconds behind, we've got our second pack of cars, led by Tyler Aspinall. And right now that lead to that first pack is just growing right now. As this front pack is doing a good job of staying in line in order to increase their speed and start to pull away from that second group, who's now 2 seconds behind. Tyler Aspinall, though, you see, has no help. That second group is not quite as formed up as that first group is, as Dave Wright, you see, looking down to the inside of Ed DeBoer. As long as this second group continues to run side by side like this, it's going to allow your front pack to continue to pull away. But now they're starting to race as Jacob Bowen looks to the high side of Jimmy Green. Here comes Chris Wheeler looking to the high side with him. Now the entire field ganging up on that high side, trying to get Jimmy Green to the back of this little group. And a great run for Jacob Bowen and Chris Wheeler as they work together into turn number 1. Pulling Bryn George along with him, and Jimmy Green now battling side by side with Brady Floyd. All while continuing to pull away from the second group as we see Dave Wright, Tyler Espinal, and Austin Green were just 3 wide for a moment on the backstretch. Green almost gets up into the side, and Dave Wright, he's able to hold on to it. And now Dave's going to march away from this group in front of him. Which again, I don't think this is the right call, having these guys race back here. They should get in line so that they can catch up to that front group. As now the lead is, or the gap from 4th to 5th is currently 3.1 seconds. Mike Rentz now trying to look to the inside of DeBoer, but he's going to tuck back in behind. So Jacob Owen doing a great job, pretty much leading this race from the drop of the green flag. Did lose the stage, but able to march his way right back up there and continue to lead. Fortunately, being that lead car, he's also burning the most gas. Which I'm not sure how much these guys are thinking about fuel at this moment, as they should be able to go somewhere around 45 to 55 laps on fuel. The field was last down on pit road on lap 31. So they should be coming back down pit road in the next 30 laps or so. As the gap from 5th to 6th now is grown to just over 4 seconds. As we see these cars in the back here continuing to battle. Joe Wright just hit pit road. He's taking tires, and he might be able to make it to the end here. So maybe we'll have to see what he does for fuel here, as he's down and away. Is he going to lose a lap to the leaders here? As we see him coming off of pit road, there goes Brooke Qualley. Remember, he's got to stay down below that blue line. He can't blend until he comes off of turn number 2. And the leaders now, which are battling for position, as Chris Wheeler is now battling underneath Jacob Bowen, are coming through turns 3 and 4. So Joe able to stay out on the lead lap, as they're looking to be 3 wide for a second for the lead as they come off of turn number 4. Some heavy side drafting now as things are starting to ramp up here at the front. Jacob Bowen and Chris Wheeler continue side by side in this hard battle off of turn number 2. Down the backstretch, Bryn George with the big push on the 28. Jacob Bowen with Brady Floyd right there trying to give a big shove as well. Chris Wheeler stuck on the bottom with no help. He's going to slide all the way back to the 4th position. And even while battling side by side, they continue to pull away from that second group, as the sec gap now is just over 5 seconds. And you can see the green dot, green circle represents the 22 of Chris Wheeler. And you can see just how far back the 45 is, as they're just coming off of turn number 2 now, as the leaders are just getting ready to come into turn number 3. So right around half a straightaway behind is that second group, as Chris Wheeler's going to lose another position here. He's going to fall back into the 5th position. Now there's a bit of separation between Bryn George and Jacob Bowen. Is that going to allow Bryn to get the big run here to get back around 28? They continue to run side by side in the back here. Brady Floyd down on the bottom. Brady Floyd up on the top with the 25 and Jimmy Green down on the bottom. Chris Wheeler not really willing to work with either driver. Now the 25 Jimmy Green, he's going to back off and tuck back in line. Jacob Bowen now battle for the lead as Bryn George gets the big run and gets around the 28 to move that 7 machine up into the lead. Here comes Chris Wheeler now, trying to use that same momentum to move himself up to the front. Tight racing up here. Brady Floyd all over the back bumper of Jacob Bowen as they go in the corner. Oh, big move from Brady Floyd right down in front of Chris Wheeler. He must have been clear by more than an inch or two, as he's going to try to make the move around Jacob Bowen here through the quad oval. Next time by will be halfway with Bryn George, your leader. There goes Brady Floyd up into 2nd place. As we officially hit the halfway point here in tonight's race. Bryn George continues to lead. Brady Floyd, Jacob Bowen, Chris Wheeler, Jimmy Green round out the top 5. Then you got to go 4.7 seconds back to the 43 of Patrick Genter. For 6th, Stan Mayberry 7th. Ed DeBoer in 8th. Tyler Aspinall and Dave Wright round out the top 10. As Patrick Genter is starting to gain a little time now. They've cut that lead back down under 5 seconds now, as maybe the front pack's starting to run a little bit slower to save some fuel. Jimmy Green down the 25 hits pit road. Ed DeBoer also on the pit road. Now, when are the rest of the leaders going to decide to come down pit road? As they're still battling it out here, the top 4. See Patrick Genter, Stan Mayberry also deciding to drive by pit road. Jimmy Green and DeBoer just leaving pit road. As we see the battle for the lead here, as Jacob Bowen's looking back down to the inside of Bryn George, retakes the lead away from the 7 machine. Here comes Chris Wheeler also down to the bottom side, trying to take over that 2nd position. Brady Floyd right there behind, helping Bryn George. Everybody seems to be leaving Chris Wheeler out of it tonight. Not really willing to work with him. as Wheeler's going to have to slide back into that fourth position as he's real low down the backstretch. He's going to tuck right in behind the 6 of Brady Floyd. As now that lead that Patrick Genter had, the gap from Wheeler back to Genter is 3.5 seconds. So over the course of just a few laps, that second group has already peeled off 1.5 seconds. So we leave the track map up there so you can see where all the drivers are on track as we speak. And Jacob Bowen continues the lead here. So a couple drivers decided to split this race in half. A couple drivers decided to come in early. And it looks like the rest of the drivers are going to stay right out to the end of the fuel window. Tyler Aspinall now hits pit road. Dave Wright comes to pit road as well. So I guess it just leaves to when the leaders are going to come in. Now Wheeler looks down to the inside of Brady Floyd to come down the backstretch. Wheeler's got a great run down the backstretch, able to take that momentum and carry him past the 6 machine. But here comes Brady Floyd coming back on the outside. Now Wheeler's coming down pit road along with Jacob Bowen. So as these two come down pit road, that's going to surrender the lead to Bryn George and Brady Floyd. Patrick Genter, Stan Mayberry, Austin Green, Mike Rentz all yet to pit. As your leaders come by pit road this time, they're going to continue to stay out. We see the 25 of Jimmy Green trying to get his lap back the hard way, which he will. Now you're starting to see just how much those new tires make a difference here. Here comes Genter as well on fresh tires. I take that back. Genter is not on fresh tires. Genter has run these guys down. That's third place as he's going to come down on the pit road along with Stan Mayberry. So Genter was able to run some really fast laps there at the end. He was almost a second faster, and I think Bryn George and Brady Floyd have slowed their pace down, trying to save some fuel here. As their lap times have dropped down almost into the 33-second bracket. To put that in perspective, your fastest car on track right now just ran a 30.80. And that time by Bryn George ran a 33.12. So giving up the speed on track, trying to save the fuel, it looks like, as now Brady Floyd's going to go around Bryn George. Bryn coming in the pit this time, or is he going to stay out yet again? He continues to stay out. Him and Brady Floyd. As again, these guys are running 2 seconds a lap slower. And it sounds like, yep, it sounds like Bryn George is out of fuel Coming off of turn number 2. Brady Floyd continues to stay under power. Oh, sounds like he's starting to sputter a little bit as well, as he's going to come down the pit road here. So our 2 leaders literally running the cars out of fuel. Oh, was Brady able to get slowed down in time before pit road speed? So Jimmy Green is going to take over the lead. We're going to have to watch Brady Floyd's pit stop here, as he is still on pit road, and he's being held in the pits. Definitely sped on pit road. That's going to all but do it for Brady Floyd here, as he's just going to continue to go backwards while having to serve that penalty. So Jimmy Green will be your leader by 10 seconds over Chris Wheeler. And Brady Floyd still sitting on pit road. And now he's able to roll, but after a 55-second pit stop, that's going to put him multiple laps down here, as Jimmy Green's going to be coming past the start-finish line here to put Brady Floyd another lap down. No, I think Floyd was able to stay out. Yep, just barely stay out in front of the leader. So a tough break for that 6 machine of Brady Floyd. And right now the field really spread out throughout. Let's take you through the field here at Charlotte with Jimmy Green, your leader, as he comes into turn number 3. Chris Wheeler sitting in second, almost 10 seconds back, just coming off of turn number 2. Jacob Bowen 3 seconds behind Chris Wheeler. In third, Ed DeBoer sitting back in fourth. About a half second behind Bowen. You can see him right there. Stan Mayberry, about a second behind Ed, that 88 machine in front. Patrick Genter right there as well. Tyler Aspinall just behind Genter. Joe Wright about 3 seconds behind Aspinall here, as Joe's coming off of turn number 2. And we'll find Austin Green about a second and a half behind Joe. Dave Wright not too far behind Austin. Mike Rentz and Bryn George round out your lead lap cars. I take that back. George is technically 1 lap down right now. I'm trying to figure out where he's running in relation to Jimmy Green. He's about a half second behind Green. And then Brooke Qualley sitting in 13th, 1 lap down. And Brady Floyd also a lap down, who's catching Brooke, trying to take away that 13th position. There's a little battle shaping up on track. We've got the 68 Stan Mayberry and Ed DeBoer as they come down the backstretch. Jacob Bowen right in front of the 2 of them as well. This is shaping up to be a 3-car battle for the final podium spot here at Charlotte. As Jimmy Green's lead is starting to shrink a little bit. Looks like he's slowed down quite a bit. His last lap was a 31.56, where Chris Wheeler was a 92. Here goes the pass from Stan Bayberry on Jacob Bowen to take over that third position. That's going to slide Jacob Bowen back into the fourth position. And Chris Wheeler really starting to put the pressure down now. He's cutting the Jimmy's Green's lead down to 6.5 seconds. Got a little battle back here as Genter gets around to Bauer. Take over that fifth position. So a mixture of strategies now out on track. As we'll put up the last lap by on the ticker, and you can see just the difference in speed. The pace really starting to slow down now. I believe some of these guys are starting to save fuel. Patrick Genter hasn't gotten the memo, though. He's still running sub 31-second laps. He's the only car, well, besides Mike Rentz, out there running sub 30-second laps. As Stan Mayberry's continuing to pull away from Jacob Bowen. And Chris Wheeler continues to slowly eat away at Jimmy Green's lead. Joseph Wright just hit pit road. Make his last service here to make it to the end. And that's the other thing, is fuel going to be a concern? We know they can go, well, now we officially know that they can go about 43 laps. So everybody will have to come down pit road one more time. And with green flag pit stops, it's another opportunity, as we've seen with Brady Floyd tonight, to make a mistake that can really cost you. As Brady Floyd sped on pit road, and that caused him to have a 55-second pit stop, where he was held in the pits for 40 seconds, the penalty. That's why he's currently running back in the 13th position, one lap down. Tyler Aspinall starting to cut into Ed DeBoer here, trying to take over that 6th position. Slowly making his way back to the back bumper of that 88 machine. Looks like Tyler's got a bit of damage to the right side of that vehicle. But still continuing to make that thing charge forward to try to get ahead of the 88 of DeBoer. Jimmy Green, now your leader on pit road. That's going to give Chris Wheeler the lead. As we see Joe Wright trying to get one of his 2 laps back here from Chris Wheeler, and he's easily going to do it. Now Wheeler is going to come down onto pit road for his final service. He's able to get it slowed down. So Stan Mayberry is going to assume the lead. Also Jacob Bowen onto pit road as well. So a few drivers finally taking their final pit stops. Again, you got to be real careful getting onto this pit road, as we've seen already tonight. We look at the entrance of pit lane. There's a yellow line there where just before the yellow barrels there. That's not the timing line. The timing line is down where you see those two yellow cones. So it's really easy to speed on pit road. You think you've got a little extra room to dive down onto pit road, and you gotta be real careful getting on. Stan Mayberry continues to lead here. We'll have to see if Mayberry's going to try to stretch as long as he can and just take fuel for a short stop to make it to the end. But it looks like everybody who's come down pit road has taken 4 tires as well. As we've seen tonight, tires can make such a big difference. DeBoer now onto pit road. DeBoer also has a lot of bit of damage to that right side of his machine. We'll have to see if he comes in and if he used his reset yet, or if he's got a reset available to make that car look brand new and drive brand new. He comes to his pit stall. Yep, reset was there, so he's able to get a brand new car to get back out on track. As Mayberry's going to put DeBoer 1 lap down. And Patrick Genter trying to run down that 68 machine. He's got the 25 of Jimmy Green right in front of him. Jimmy Green is the first car 1 lap down. He would be the lucky dog if the yellow was to come out, as we have less than 25 laps to go. Down to 23 laps to go. Now the big question is, when are our leaders going to come down and pit? Or have they slowed down enough to try to save enough to make it to the end? A little battle back here. Mike Rentz and Dave Wright. Dave's going to look up to the high side here as they come down the backstretch. There's a battle for 5th place. As they battle side by side through the quad oval. It looks like Mike Rentz has a little bit of damage to the right side of his car, as Dave Wright easily moves himself up into the 5th position and starts to pull away from that 91 machine. Up front, Stan Mayberry. His lead is shrank. It is under a second now. Back to Patrick Genter. We take a look off the back bumper of this 68 machine, and you can see that orange car getting bigger and bigger, as now he's going to come down onto pit road. And Mayberry, let's follow Mayberry's stop as he comes down into his pit stall. Gets in nice and clean. Oh, almost shorted it a little bit. Right sides go up. Right side tires are going on. Left sides are in the air. He's down and away. Pit time of 15:78. Now Patrick Genter, who just took over the lead, is now making his way down pit road. Also Austin Green right behind him as well. Very easy into his box, trying not to slide those front tires. Right sides are up in the air. Left sides are going on. And he is down and away in 15:08, so a little bit better pit stop than Mayberry had. Let's see how that plays out on track, as we know there was a second between those two coming on the pit road. And that's going to give the lead over to the 45 of Tyler Aspinall. So Aspinall, your leader, with an 11-second lead over his second place, David Wright. Sitting back in third is the lone Toyota, Mike Rentz, who's still trying to run down Dave Wright after losing that position a few moments ago. Tyler Aspinall down on pit road. Again, a lot of damage to the right side of that machine. Let's see if he had his reset saved up and he's able to get that car fixed up. Which he does. Right sides are going on the car. That's going to give the lead over to Dave Wright. As Dave makes his way through turns 3 and 4, and he's going to bypass pit road this time. We have just 15 laps to go. Well, looks like Tyler Aspinall had a little issue getting off pit road. See if we can see what happened to Aspinall as he was coming off of pit road here. No, loops it. There's a little off-roading. Ooh, comes up on track over that blue line. That's going to be a penalty for that 45 machine. Almost brought out the yellow flag. As we see the 15 of Austin Green trying to get his lap back from the leader, which he does. Now Dave Wright down on the pit road. Gets down the speed and makes his way down to his pit stall. So Mike Rentz now your leader here at Charlotte. And Rentz continues to stay out. Continue to lead here. With just 12 laps to go, and the caution is out. Brady Floyd having some issues. Goes around in turn number 1, and that's going to be our first wreckage rewind of the evening. Just our second caution of the night. Let's see if we can see what happened to Brady here to bring out this yellow. Looks like a little battle going on here between the 88 and the 6. As we know, Brady was a couple laps down. And, oh, the 88 just misjudges it and spins the 6 right around. Oh, hard contact for those two. Almost catches Bryn George. Bryn was able to get on by unscathed. And that's going to change the entire complexity of this race. Tyler Aspinall should be your lucky dog here. As Mike Rentz is going to come down onto pit road. And I wonder how many cars are going to follow him. as he'll have much newer tires than everybody else. It looks like Rentz is going to be all alone on pit road. A couple more takers now. DeBoer, Bryn George, Brady Floyd, Dave Wright all coming down pit road as well. So we'll refire with about 8 laps to go. This could change everything as we'll have a couple cars with fresh tires. And Jimmy Green continues to lead. Joe Wright up in front of Jimmy, though, so Joe should be able to get his lap back, and this will put him on the tail end of the lead lap. So if he stays out here, he'll be able to take the wave around and get back onto the lead lap. If another yellow is to come out, he'll be able to pit here, pit on the next one, and get himself back into contention. I believe the lights will be going off on the pace car this time by. Oh, they stay on. So go at least one more before we go back. At least 2 more before we go back green flag racing here. Again, don't forget to join us tomorrow night for a doubleheader as the LNS Late Model Series kicks off at 8 o'clock Eastern, followed by the SCSRA Xfinity League. Thursday, you have the Thunderstruck Late Model Series with the Original Rebels, followed by Friday, the Xfinity Series from the Original Rebels, Saturday, the Original Rebels Cup Series, and don't forget Sunday, the special event is we're going to have the Ladies' Night race with the Original Rebels, starting at 7 Eastern here on Intensity Broadcasting, followed by the Original Rebels All-Star race. Here we go, Joe Wright. Going to take the wave around this time by. And Jimmy Green's going to restart. Down on the bottom, Chris Wheeler up on the high side. Mike Rentz restarting back in 7th, but he's going to be the first car with fresh tires. So 7th on back. All have fresh tires as we get ready to go back for the short run to the end. Just 7 laps when they take the green flag. And it's anybody's race. As the field comes through turns 3 and 4. We're re-racked, restacked, getting ready to refire here at Charlotte for the conclusion of the Extreme Forces Racing League Tuesday night tussle series. Pace car pulls off. Jimmy Green hits that loud pedal. We are back green flag racing. A great jump for Green as well over Chris Wheeler, as Chris Wheeler is going to have to slide back in behind that 25 machine. Here comes Jacob Bowen, though, fighting out on the bottom side of the 68 of Stan Mayberry. Bowen, who led so much of this race, now looking to fight back for the third position as he's getting a great push from Patrick Genter down the backstretch. Oh, some contact. Bowen up into the 68. 68 catches the wall. They're able to hold on to it. But heavy, heavy damage to both the 28 and the 68. As Jimmy Green is now continuing to lead, but he's got the 22 of Chris Wheeler all over his back bumper as we have a two-car breakaway. And then they cross the line this time. It'll be just 5 to go as Chris Wheeler's going to look down to the bottom side, trying to take that lead away. He's going to try a slide job up in front of the 25, but the 25 just too strong coming back across the line. Chris Wheeler would have had it by a nose. 5 laps to go here. Here comes Genter and Bryn George into the picture as well. As they're side by side for that third position. Here comes Genter giving a little push here to the 22. Now he's going to look to the bottom. They're going to be 3 wide coming down the backstretch into turn number 3. Bryn George doesn't know who he wants to go with. Chris Wheeler wisely backs out of it. And now Genter up to the front ahead of Jimmy Green. Oh, Brady Floyd just almost went around. Yellow flag is out. It's going to bring up another wreckage rewind as we see exactly what happened. We saw Brady Floyd getting really out of shape. And I mean, really out of shape. Looks like he's going to start way back here, coming off of turn number 4. He's got the 24 of Dave Wright looking down to the inside. Wright gets such a great jump. You see, run here. You see the flames coming out the left side as he was trying to get out of it. Catches the 6 machine, and Brady Floyd makes one of the most spectacular saves I've seen in a long time. I thought that car was completely around as you see him come back across the track up in front of the 68 Stan Mayberry. They make hard contact. The 2 of them catch the wall. Mayberry getting the worst of it. Brady Floyd continues on, and Mayberry with the hard spin and slide. And I actually want to ride along here with the 6 machine because I didn't want to go that far back. Because that save that he had was just absolutely incredible. We'll ride right along. And we'll see his hands at work here as he comes off the corner. Does a great job. Almost completely saves it. Gets spun around finally, but man, a wild ride for the 6 of Brady Floyd. I believe that's pretty much going to do it in for him tonight. But Joe Wright on pit road, as I mentioned, the beneficiary of a quick yellow. Stan Mayberry looks like he had a reset, so he's got a fresh car now and fresh tires. Will he be able to make his way back up to the front here? As we're going to have a green-white checker this time. As they cross the line this time, the lights stay on the pace car. We're going to go one more lap before we go back. Green flag racing. So this time I will re-rack them, restack them, and refire them here at Charlotte to see who's going to get the win here in the Extreme Forces Racing League Tuesday night tussle. Can Patrick Enter hold off Jimmy Green and Chris Wheeler for the win? Will it be someone with fresher tires? Someone like Bryn George or Jacob Bowen, Mike Rentz in the back? Or maybe someone even further back, Stan Mayberry, Dave Wright. We'll have to see how we're going to settle it in the next 3 laps. Of course, unless we get another green-white checker. So Genter takes the inside here for the restart, putting Jimmy Green on the outside. Chris Wheeler's going to sit back in 3rd. Bryn George in 4th. Jacob Bowen, who led most of the race, dominated the early part of the race. He'll be restarting in 5th with Mike Rentz on fresh tires in 6th. Actually, Bryn George in that 7. He's also on fresh tires, also came in on lap 110. And then from 7th on back, all on fresh tires. So we'll see how much of a difference these 20-lap old tires up front can do against a bunch of fresh tires. So here we go. Pace car's getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. And Patrick Genter is going to lead him back down to the restart zone. Again, league rule is the driver can take off whenever the pace car leaves the racing surface. Green flag is in the air. Ooh, a big check up there. Some little gamesmanship there on the restart. And Genter able to get out into a pretty big lead here over Jimmy Green and Chris Wheeler as Bryn George on that high side trying to work around Wheeler here. And George with those fresher tires, looks like he's going to prevail on that high side. Here comes Tyler Aspinall throwing it 3 wide down here. Trying to throw it 3 wide, doesn't have the room. Now we're 3 wide. Aspinall underneath Bowen. Ooh, some contact between Rentz and Wheeler. And some more contact as white flags in the air. But we're still racing hard contact towards the back. We've got mayhem in the back front stretch, but right now, no caution as we're on the last lap. Patrick Genter out to the lead over Jimmy Green as they work their ways through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Bryn George with those fresh tires looking down to the bottom underneath Jimmy Green. He's going to get that second position, but Patrick Genter is going to get your win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Bryn George, Jimmy Green, Tyler Aspinall, Chris Wheeler round out the top 5. And, man, we hear the fireworks in the background, and there's going to be some fireworks here tonight. There might have been a little bit of a questionable restart there, but no denying your winner tonight, Patrick Genter, as he burns it down here on the front stretch. So let's take a look at your final results. Patrick Genter, again, your winner tonight. Bryn George, Jimmy Green, Tyler Aspinall, Chris Wheeler. Joseph Wright comes home in 6th with Dave Wright 7th. Mike Rentz, Austin Green, Jacob Bowen rounding out your top 10. Then Stan Mayberry, Brooke Qualley, Brady Floyd, and Ed DeBoer round out the field. And let's see if we can see what happened there on that white flag lap, if we can see what happened. As I mentioned, it was all mayhem. And it's going to start back here a little bit as Tyler Aspinall throws it 3 wide. And Mike Rentz almost does get up into the wall. Then they're almost 4 wide, and then here's where all hell breaks loose. A couple really hard hits there. That's Brooke Qualley and Stan Mayberry. Oh. So, it's going to do it here. Let's talk to our top 3 now. Starting with Jimmy Green. Let's see if Jimmy is waiting for us in the waiting room. He is not, so the only person we're going to be able to talk to tonight is our winner, Patrick Genter. Patrick, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yep. I gotcha.
Man, great run tonight, getting the win. You were fast earlier in the race. You had ran down the leaders when they were about 5 seconds in front of you just before that second round of pit stops there. So you're showing speed early in the race and able to come home with the win tonight. What was the secret to being faster than everybody out there tonight? What was this? Was it saving tires, or was everybody just kind of backing up trying to save fuel there towards the middle part of the race?
I think it was just a decision I made after that first pit stop. I decided I didn't want to be up in the chaos. I want to go back and just hang out, see what happens, keep my car in one piece, and work with my teammate Stan. And you know what? We were constantly talking to each other, and it just seemed like when we were running, we were really fast, but we were catching those guys ahead of us.
Yeah, Stan had a good run too, leading a bunch of laps. I think he ran out of gas on that second round of pit stops, if I remember correctly. And were you afraid of running out of gas yourself, or did you kind of have your fuel strategies a little bit different than everybody else?
Well, Stan and I were on the same strategy. We were just trying to figure out how to optimize some fresh tires because there were about, like 3 or 4 guys ahead of us that pitted, and then we just figured if we could get some laps, maybe we can just run down a couple of them. But he pitted a lap early to give me a lap lead, so that helped me a little bit. But we were just trying to get the tire game. We weren't really concerned about the gas until it was getting to the end for the green-white checkers.
Well, awesome job coming home with the win tonight. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank? Any shout-outs you got to give to here tonight?
It's Jimmy and the Rev guys, the Wolfpack guys that I run with. We put a lot of effort into learning these new cars. And, of course, the guys running the league, they don't have an easy task. But you know what? It's a learning process for everybody, and looking forward, there's a lot of things that could come out of this. You just got to continue what you're doing and see what happens.
For sure. And as you say that the last couple of races have been kind of caution-filled, were you kind of surprised that this one went as green as it did?
I was. I mean, it's Charlotte. Tires wear out early. You can really smack the wall, and you can worry about a fuel game, but the tires were more than anything. So I thought there would have been a little bit more of guys checking up and some accidents, but all in all, it was pretty good for how it went.
Well, again, congratulations on the win. We're going to let you go, but hopefully we'll talk to you again soon as the season goes on.
Hopefully. Have a good night.
So that was your winner, Patrick Genter. Let's bring in Britton George, your second place finisher here tonight. Britton, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Man, great run tonight coming home in second. Those fresh tires really seemed to play dividends there at the end. Tires seemed to be really crucial here as the race went on. What were you seeing out there on track as far as tire wear?
It was definitely very important. You definitely saw the difference in speed and grip that I had at the end, because I restarted like 8th or something like that after that caution, and I drove all the way up to 2nd. But yeah, it definitely paid the difference.
Now, as the race went on, different strategies were playing out. Some people actually running themselves out of gas Did you have a strategy set in stone as you were coming in, or were you expecting there to be a few more yellows as the race went on?
Well, I was driving with my teammate Brady Floyd, and unfortunately, we really messed up the strategy. I ran out of gas, actually, so that basically ruined my race. Because I ran out on the backstretch and I had to coast and probably lost about 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, and then your teammate sped on pit road, which cost him a chance as well. But that last restart, I know there was a bit of checking up and some jostling there on that last restart. Can you talk us through that, how you got through that, or was it just a little bit of being in the right place at the right time?
Oh man, it's always just being in the right place at the right time. No, I try to see who maybe has the run and try to follow them. Obviously, I had the better grip out of any car up there, so I really just tried to pick and choose who I thought was going to be faster and what I could get the best run out of the corners. But yeah, just not enough time to catch the leader again. Second place will do.
Well, anybody you want to thank? Any shots you got to give before we let you go tonight?
ProPairings.com, my teammate Brady Floyd, and you for broadcasting, man. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and as the season goes on, I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you.
There you have it, your second place fisher, Bryn George. Jimmy Green did not pop up into the room tonight to talk, so that's going to do it here on Intensity Broadcasting with the Extreme Forces Racing League. Don't forget to join us next week as the Extreme Forces Racing League Monday night. We'll be running at the Wheel and Modified Tour cars at Bristol Motor Speedway for 100 laps. On Tuesday, we'll have these next-gen cars again, and they'll be running 150 laps at Dover, so you don't want to miss that. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got the doubleheader, the LNS Late Model Series, followed by the SCSRA Xfinity Series. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be a great one. They're going to be at Nashville tomorrow night, so Nashville Super Speedway, so look forward to that one. And as always, thank you for joining us here on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It really does help us out a lot. Don't forget to join us on eRacing TV if you haven't already. What's that? It's a free app you can download for your Fire Stick or your Roku, and you can watch live iRacing 7 nights a week on the big screen. So check that out as well. And as always, thanks for joining us tonight. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.